Today's episode of Armchair Ninja Podcast is brought to you by NinjaWarriorBlueprints.com. Get detailed and easy-to-read instructions on how to build your own affordable backyard gym, including the salmon ladder, cliffhanger, and rumbling dice at NinjaWarriorBlueprints.com. Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Thursday, September 1st, 2016. My name is Rich, and joining me for the Las Vegas Finals in one of the... That's kind of boring, right? Like, this wasn't a very good episode. We've got Bijan. How you making out?
What up, man? We finally made it to the finals. I'm excited.
Yeah, we finally got the Vegas Finals, and it was a crazy one. It's one of the craziest episodes I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was some cool stuff, man. An historic night. That's all I could say.
Yes, history has been made, as they love to say over and over and over again.
This one truly was, though, right?
Yeah, for once they're right. There was absolutely no arguing. It was a very cool experience that we got to have. I don't know how they're going to top it next week.
I don't know, man. I think we're going to see a whole lot more people finish next week, though.
You think? Do you think they kind of grouped a lot of the surprising falls in the first week?
I don't know. I just have a feeling we still have seen, in terms of like the highly ranked competitors, we saw a good mix of them here, but I think we're going to see a whole lot more next week. Drew Dreshels, Jeff Britton's, stuff like that.
Yeah, those guys. I think those guys are probably good, but who knows, man? I would have bet on most of the people we saw fall.
I know. Boy.
Yeah, it was a weird night, man. They got me more than once where I was sure that the person was going to make it through and definitely didn't. And
you know what's weird? I blame myself. I don't blame anybody, even the producers, but I was kind of underwhelmed about stage one in terms of its difficulty and everything. I don't know, man. I think I just hyped it up into my head too much that they're going to make it super, super difficult.
Really? Really? I'm really surprised by it, especially given who it took out. To me, it made it seem almost insurmountable just because we saw... I mean, we'll go through the names, but good Lord, who did you want to fall on it to not show how difficult it was?
I don't think it was any of the competitors. I just saw all of the obstacles, and none of them really looks like ninja killers. And looking back, I'm fine with that just because you shouldn't really have too daunting or too difficult of obstacles, and it was a good mix altogether to compete against the time limit, right? But I guess I was expecting something that would be like ridiculously difficult.
Yeah, I think in stage one it's more about time-consuming and just tricky enough to throw them off. And I think they had a nice few additions. It wasn't quite as different as I was expecting, right? Because they kind of go on about it being totally revised and everything else. I mean, it was pretty familiar. It wasn't that far out there.
No, but I did like the modifications that they did make to the stage. I guess I'm too. I guess I was comparing it too much to Sasuke because when they had Winner a few years ago, they really, really amped up the difficulty to ridiculous degrees, and I think that might have been unfair for this. With that said, man, it's still a beast of a stage one. I really enjoyed it, and I don't know. The one thing that I was really worried about going into this was the propeller bar and its trampoline. And I can't say that it really took out anybody based on the spring of it or anything. Everybody that fell on it or fell based on the propeller bar or something else. So I can't call it cheap or anything. All around thumbs up, man.
Yeah, so let's kind of go through some of the new obstacles and what I think are revisions to some of the existing ones. We've got Snake Run, replacing Piston Road.
Yeah, it looks cool, man. I like it.
Yeah, I think that's a good addition. It's really tripped up a few of them. It wasn't so crazy that you could call it unfair, but definitely tricky and new.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it's one of those obstacles where if you overlook it, you're gonna fall into the water. We saw that a few examples of that this episode. So I appreciate the fact that it can't be just completely overlooked. It's something you have to respect.
Yep. Propeller bar is always dangerous. for a lot of the competitors. The giant log grip, that thing was deadly. Like that, they can't see anything. Like that was just, I wasn't sure how they were even going to do it. Then we started seeing some people develop strategies along the way.
Yeah, I think it would have been a little unfair or a little too much if they had the drop where once it ends, right, it would be too far from the pad. If they had it sort of like Sasuke where it's the hanging silk whatever cloth where you have to time it perfectly and land on the pad, I think it'd be too much. But the fact that they had it at the very end, if you just hold on to that log for your dear life and wait for it to completely stop, or if you want, just wait for it to stop, and then while in air drop down, you can land on the pad. I like that fact. I like the fact that it mattered so much based on your grip that your just pure gravity kind of was your biggest force against it, right? I really liked the way they did that whole thing. And you just have to imagine how fast they're going because that thing looked super long.
Yeah, they said it was like 3 times the length that it normally is. That's pretty intense.
That's awesome. But can you imagine if they did the rolling log like that? I don't know if anybody would be able to do it.
I get they'd need the rest of the time just to get their vision straight again.
Yeah, get vomit buckets or something on the side.
So this is the one I wanted to ask about, though. The jumping spider. That was narrower, was it not? Like, am I crazy?
It seemed like it, but it might have been that way the whole time. I mean, we only get to see it so rarely that I can't really compare it. I haven't looked back to previous seasons, but it did seem more narrow. And honestly, I'm fine with that because the gap that they had previous seasons, it was a little too much.
Because I remember watching, I mean, we had the, I can't think of his name offhand. It is the Tyler Yamauchi, the 5'1" guy.
Oh, yeah.
Know, he did it. He still had a decent amount of bend to his legs. But when Casey was trying to do it before, she had to damn near do the splits to get in there.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, though, he got deep in there. He passed that complete, where it spreads open? He passed that completely and got to the middle area. So it might just be that. Remember, that guy was a gymnast and he sprung. He damn near flew off that trampoline into the spider climb. So it might just be that.
That could be it. I mean, even some of the tall competitors looked really uncomfortable in there, like it was really cramped. So maybe that would be the way to do it. Go back and compare Grant McCartney last year to this year or something.
Yeah, I think I would have a tough time in that thing because I have really long legs. So
the Sonic Curve came back, which is a pretty good obstacle. I think it's just difficult enough and a bit of a time killer if you miss the
I was about to say,
swing.
It's not difficult, man. Like, it could be difficult, but come on. Like, it's more of a time killer, and it's more of a type of obstacle where you just have to position yourself perfectly. You saw it tripped up a lot of people in terms of timing, and, I can respect it. It's whatever. It kills some time, so it makes the time limit more daunting.
Yeah, I like it better than the half-pipe attack.
Well, I guess that's fair to say.
Yeah, I think it was a good change. Warped Walls back. Broken Bridge.
I love this.
Yeah, I liked it. That was a really good one. It was like you saw that one in LA, right? Was it the escalator?
Yeah, but this one seemed a lot more difficult. Like, it didn't trip too many people up, but you can see it definitely can cause some issues. With that said, I mean, my favorite is the flying squirrel. It was cool.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I knew you'd like that one. I saw that and I was immediately thinking, oh, Bijan's going to like that obstacle. I'm sure of it.
Oh, yeah. And I think the time limit was fair. It was perfectly timed. So all around, I'm okay with it. I guess I was underwhelmed in my head just because I was expecting something ridiculously difficult. But all around, looking back, I'm cool with it. It was good stuff.
Awesome. So let's get into the runs. We're going to go through all of the runs that happened. We'll have a commercial break. We'll come back with Crashing the Course, 24 Before, and a little bit about the National Ninja League.
Overall, did you like the episode?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I really liked it. I mean, really, how could you not like that episode? It was so exciting. I don't think I've ever yelled as much at the TV in anything as I did last night. A lot of ows, like just literally yelling out ow as people were taking bangs on their knees and everything else.
Yeah, there was one spot, I forget who it did, but they slammed their knee right into right after the bridge obstacle, and man, that looked rough. But I love this episode.
So yeah, right off the bat, we had Ryan Stratus. Lots of love for his beard. So we get to see him do that big drop to the giant log. What's it called? The giant log grip pad. The time was just passing away on him, and he ended up going out on the flying squirrel. He just didn't even reach up with his right arm. Like I think he probably avoided. Yeah, I think he was avoiding injury there.
Yeah, like he knew his body, and you can tell something wasn't feeling right. And I'm glad that he didn't try to tough it out, because he could have seriously really did some damage, like long-term damage to his shoulder, if it was tripping up on him. With that said, I really like the fact that they started with him, because for a big portion of the first part of the episode, we didn't see very many people get far in terms of the course. So this was a very good introductory course run for the audience to see the whole course and just how difficult everything is and how it should be run. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Instead of the typical build-up where, you see somebody go out on the first obstacle, then maybe a couple on the second. Yeah, I like this. This was good.
Mm-hmm.
Next was JoJo Bynum. I don't remember his mom singing last year. Did they not feature that? Because that was awesome.
I think they did. I remember seeing her, but I don't know if they featured her too much singing, but I have a feeling they did. And I don't know, man. She's fine. Like, it was cool. But I could tell if they kept playing her singing the entire run, I would have got really annoyed really quick.
Not me. I would listen to it the whole time. I thought it was great.
Yeah, with that said, you can just see how much his family loves him, and just how, like, emotional he got. It really mattered to him. It was kind of weird, though, that, he did get angry so much, like slamming the water. I was like, whoa, where'd that come from?
Oh, yeah, that seemed out of character. Like, he seems so... I don't know. He just has a very vibrant, positive energy about him.
Super positive.
Like, whoa, okay. I guess you didn't appreciate that. And then he immediately switched back for the interview. He's like, yeah, I fell.
Yeah. I mean, in the moment, some people can get really passionate, and you have to imagine if he was training all year and he falls on that. I can see how heartbreaking it is. I don't know. I don't think anybody was expecting him to do that.
After him, we had Cassie Craig. Who's singing and actually has a really nice voice. She's starting a music career.
Yeah, didn't know that. Good for her. Awesome hair, dude.
I liked her hair too. She barely got the propeller. Oh my god, I thought for sure she was out there.
I must say though, her timing on that log drop, it was actually really good. If she was just centered more, I think she would have actually gotten it.
Yeah, I think she was. Yeah, like you said, the timing was good, but she just missed it on the right hand side. Like It would have sucked to run earlier and not see the other strategies people were using.
That's rough, because once people figure it out that you can just drop the whole way and just hold on and drop, that's pretty much the only way to do it.
Yeah, other than that, you just be a really lucky guess. That's about it.
Yeah, real lucky.
And so we're gonna go through these a little fast. I hope hope nobody minds. There's so many to go through. We've got Casey Suhaki next, the Bama Ninja. That's the guy with the grandpa. It's funny how you can do that, right? You can group them up like, the Carpenter Ninja, and it makes it so much easier. This is the guy with his grandpa. He kept sliding on the jumping spider. Oh, I hate watching them do that. I keep picturing them with a shoulder injury trying to catch themselves just with their arms and stuff. But
yeah, it's hard to see, but as somebody that's tried that obstacle, I definitely understand why it happens.
Yeah, just need better shoes.
Shoes and a little bit more, your inner thigh strength, man, it just taxes it. Like, the people that make it look easy, they make it look too damn easy.
I actually forgot when you had talked about doing that and how difficult it was and how surprised you were.
Yeah, I was not expecting it to be that hard.
But he hit one leg on that landing, come out of there, and that was one of those ow, 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 ow moments.
Right? Oh. You just have to imagine these people, they don't show it, but a lot of these competitors must come out with some pretty brutal injuries. With that said, man, he was so close to the end. It sucks because I really saw this guy going very far. The passion and overall just how comfortable he was on these obstacles. For him to fall with such a small margin of error, I think he fell by basically inches if his other leg was a little bit more up. Brutal to see.
But he made a good show of it. I think we'll see him back for sure.
Oh, we're going to see him back. And hopefully we see his grandpa back again, too, because I love that guy.
Yeah. Next, I actually want to mention one of the fast forwards. Mike Chick ended up going on the propeller bar, which kind of sucked.
Yo, that jacket was on point, though, dude.
I didn't even notice his jacket. How crazy is
Oh,
that?
his jacket was awesome. He looked like a villain straight out of the Spider-Man movie. I forget the guy's name, Electro, I think it was. Man, jacket just like that was awesome.
I am going to have to go back and look at that now. I have my head down so much because I'm taking notes the whole time that I miss things. It really sucks sometimes because someone will fall and like, what? I had to look up and rewind it to figure out what happened if they fell early.
Yeah, it's nice relying on you for, the notes.
That's not fair. This time I actually thought I might be able to do it all by memory because I actually liked it so much. Could run through most of the runs just by memory.
You're asking for a hard time trying that.
But yeah, I don't think I'm going to try it. Because next was when I had forgotten about Lucas Gomez. He missed the cut, and then somebody got injured, and he got the call for Vegas. And doesn't he get into an accident? That looked brutal, man. The chain broke on a tow truck and smashed him in the chest.
Could you just imagine? That is brutal. I'm so glad he's okay because he could have seriously injured himself or died. That with just the speed and the weight of that chain, that could have been really bad. Especially if it now I think about it, if it hits him in his neck or something. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he said if he was going a little faster, it would have been the end of him.
Man, please everybody be careful.
Yeah, it sounds like there wasn't much he could have done. That's what scares me, right? Is it sounds like he was just driving by and that happened. Like there was nothing he could have done.
Yeah, that's some scary stuff, dude.
Yeah, and actually, you know what? This is the run, one of the runs I was talking about because I even made a note here that he fell in the steps and I missed it because I'm like jotting everything down, and then all of a sudden I hear the horn go and like he fell on the steps after all of that build up and all that he went through to get there. He ended up falling on the steps.
Yeah, and this was a brother where he's never been to Vegas either, so. This was his first trip. So excited. He finally made it just on the skin of his teeth based on somebody else being injured. He goes through all this, and he falls on the first obstacle. Oh, I feel bad for him. But, hey, at least he made it to Vegas. Now he can say that he's gone to Vegas. So, give him that. And he's alive. That's another thing.
Yeah. Next, we had Brandon Pinnell, Starbucks barista. His dad was in and out of prison. He was one of 6 walk-ons. Yada, yada, yada. He ended up going out on the
that video package was a little too long for him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of odd. I thought for sure he was going to, kill it because they gave him so much time and they're going on about him being one of the walk-ons. I thought, oh, this is one of those guys that's going to surprise everyone and finish. But no, it was a jumping spider fall.
Well, he surprised one of us, I guess, by how far he got.
Next, we had Grant McCartney.
Yeah. Dude, his dance moves are on point, man.
He is so entertaining. And his little brother was great. I loved that whole story with him.
His little brother is adorable. Reminds me of me and my older brother, just wanting to be my older brother for so long.
So he just always looks like he has a good time. He's so smooth through it. And he ends up beating the whole course. And then does the Running Man and dab at the end.
Yeah, he was great. He's somebody that you just want to root for so much, and he seems like he's having such a good time the entire run. So I'm really happy for him. His little brother really needs to work on his dance moves.
Yeah.
But, it's all good, and I don't know, man. Maybe in a few years we'll see his little brother running. Won't that be something?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Grant's really amazing, especially for the size of him. He's such a big guy, and he does not move like a big guy at all.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, right? Because he's 6'2", 6'3", and he holds on a lot of weight too. So in terms of the bigger competitors, he might be the top ranked ninja. Maybe if there was a heavyweight division, he would be the champ.
It'd be him and Alan Keneally battling it out.
Yeah, pretty much.
But after him, we had a fast forward of James McGrath, who went out on the jumping spider. That was a pretty big surprise.
Man, when they showed James McGrath, I am like, they are giving James the shaft again. What the heck is going on? But then he fell, and I'm like, no, why? That jumping Spider-Man, that is his kryptonite. And he's so dang good. He's so talented. If you see him on stage 3, this dude is so dang good. But he just can't get there, man. That's rough.
But I guess we'll get to see him on Team Ninja Warrior again, so he can prove
that he's awesome. Yeah.
Speaking of awesome, we had Travis Rosen next. Stage 1, he had beaten 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
And he went out on the steps. I don't, like, it's just scribbles. My notes are just, I couldn't even form words and letters.
I couldn't believe it. Could you imagine how disappointing that must have been for him? That's rough, man. Because this guy is so good, so talented for his age and all the training that he does. And you could see it. He's like, it's getting harder every year, but I'm sticking with it. It's so fun, and I want to stay with it. Man, I'm glad they have Team Ninja Warrior, where it might give people like him more motivation to continue training throughout the year. But I feel for the guy. That is rough.
Yeah, and he's not the last of the veterans to go down. It was just a weird night. But we had next Tyler Yamauchi, who'd mentioned already, 5'1".
I love this guy so much. I love him. Not only is he 5'1", he looks every bit of 5'1", right?
Yeah, I think they're tacking a little onto him, maybe.
Yeah, like there are some competitors where you're like, oh, that guy's that tall? I don't see it, but this guy, man, he fits that role. He is so small, but he never makes it look like it is so daunting towards him. He looks at the challenge ahead of him, and he just beast modes it. And it's so refreshing to see. I really like this guy. I think he is going to be a huge star, especially for shorter competitors, maybe Asian competitors, Asian audiences. And yeah, he's a really good throwback to Sasuke and a lot of the shorter competitors just doing these really crazy feats with really daunting obstacles. I really love this guy so much.
Yeah, he did end up timing out on the warped wall, which is, it's a pretty...
I can't blame him.
It's a kind of a tall order to get up the warped wall at that height, but...
I see what you did there.
But the thing is, I just want to remind people, because I cannot believe Casey doesn't need me to defend her, but I feel like I need to half the time because I don't understand the Casey hate. Just to remind people, Tyler wouldn't have even started doing Ninja Warrior if it hadn't been for Casey. She literally inspired him to start because he always thought the warped wall was impossible for somebody his height. And when he saw her do it, he realized it was possible, and he joined the sport. And so many of the rookie women we saw do amazing this season all look to her as an inspiration. So stop with the Casey hate. I just don't even get it. Like, they're not even, it's all Jessie and Megan this year, frankly. It's like, really hasn't been the Casey show this season. So you just don't hate on her for something that she has no control over when they're hyping her up constantly.
Yeah, I just tune out people that hate on Casey. And honestly, every time I see a post online about Casey, it's really not defended very well. They really don't have many good, arguments to back it up. They usually are just like, oh, well, she gets all this attention, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so? Like, she's a good ambassador for the sport, and, you can see her influence towards other people. So I just tune it out. If you really want to hate on Casey, please send us a message and give a good explanation of why. And if it's well defended, I'll read it out on next week's podcast, so therefore everybody else can hear it. But yeah, I haven't heard any intelligent argument yet, and it's whatever. At this point, just tune it out. Who cares?
Yeah, I'm really bad for not being able to do that. For just about anything, though. It's got nothing to do with necessarily Casey. It's like, someone is wrong on the internet. I must intervene.
Well, you're going to hate life a lot if you...
Yeah, I got to avoid forums most of the time. Okay, moving on. We had Jamie Ron, and I don't know what the most surprising fall of the night was, but this was way up there for me. The fact that he went out on the giant log grip, he was just going so fast, and he just missed the pad. I just never would have predicted that.
Yeah, it was surprising, and I think he surprised himself too, because he didn't necessarily do too much wrong, right? I think he just let go a little too early, where even though the log went up, his body was still in motion going forwards. So it kind of flung him a little too much to the side, in position of the pad. So I don't know, it's rough, and it was just one small little mistake, and I don't mind it just because it's one of those things where it was an obstacle where it was so technical that you failed on a little technical thing, and I appreciate that kind of stuff more of the physical things. Bad night for the veterans, man. But I will say this, in their stead, the rookies really came out to play. Let's talk about this next guy, man.
Yeah, this guy, actually, it was funny because I remember you talking him up. You actually were really impressed with him earlier on, and you called it. He was the Carpenter Ninja, Michael Torres. He just did everything really well. Like, he had a little slip on the broken bridge, but the time was ticking down on the flying squirrel, but he did it. He just made it, but he did it.
Yeah, he was tired, but it was his first time, and the competitors that really, really take this stuff seriously, and it's hard because we have veterans that train all year, right? But I think there's something to be said about training it so much that you're too comfortable with certain obstacles. There's another thing where if you're new to the sport, but you've dedicated so much training just within like a year span and everything, and you're so nervous that you have to take every single thing super seriously, I think that really can be beneficial to you. As you can see with this guy's run, it can be a little too much where you're a little too careful and the time limit can be a factor, but still he went past it, and in terms of his technical side, he was great, and I'm really happy for him because people like him, I really want them to do very well. These are the competitors that I really root for the most.
Yeah, he seems to kind of fit that more traditional mold, doesn't he? He's kind of a more Sasuke-like competitor.
Oh, yeah. He's a Yusuke Moromoto.
Fair enough. So then we had two fast forwards that we should mention. Mike Bernardo, man, they fast forward him again. This time he went out on the propeller bar, though. That was awful to see. And also Michelle Warnke also went on the propeller bar. So, like, veterans, man, they going out early this year.
Yeah, and I don't know. It was just one of those nights. I think we're going to see a whole lot more from the veterans next week, though. I think they front-loaded this episode with a lot of the veterans not doing well and a lot of the rookies doing well. And I think we're kind of going to get a flip next week.
Anyway, moving on. We had Jessie Graff, one of the ones everybody was looking forward to. Man, I like her. Every time I see her on the screen, I just like her more and more. The whole thing with Emmeline, I have mentioned in the past, I don't know if I've really made much of a big deal of it or if anybody really caught it, but my brother has special needs, and it's her relationship. And as she described, that she's still in there, she still has a personality and stuff like that. Really touched me. Like, I love that that's being expressed because I think people don't get that enough.
Yeah, I've worked with special needs children for over a decade now, and if anybody spends some time with a special needs child, like, they have the most beautiful personalities. They're so caring and everything. And I'm really happy that she has this connection to this little girl. And not just that, she has such a passion for the sport in general. You really want her to do well. And I'm so glad that she's done so amazingly well this year. So all around, it couldn't have happened to a better person. And I'm really happy for the child as well. Because you can just see, like, that kid is living vicariously through her, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I don't even know if she's a child. I don't know how old she is, but, I
think she's a teenager, but to me, she's a child. I mean, at my age, a 19-year-old's a child, so.
Fair enough. I guess I consider you a child, so I guess that's fair.
It's just a slope downwards. It's like, you're a child to me.
Yeah. So next she ended up going out on the jumping spider. I think she had a really respectable run. Can't say, she beat the propeller bar, which is enough of an accomplishment for your rookie year for sure. And then she did manage to wedge herself in, but just a little not far enough into the chute for the jumping spider. But she did really well.
I think everybody was shocked when that happened. But to be fair, when they did the replay, you can see why it happened, which was nice. Yeah,
I thought she had it for a second, all of a sudden just spins out of it.
Yeah, so we should skip the next comparator, because who cares about that guy, right?
That guy. Oh, yeah, one of those Wolfpack guys, right?
Yeah, it's like, who cares?
Brian needs some love, man. Like, Brian did awesome.
Poor guy. He's so good, but, like, I'm so glad at least this time they really gave him a really good video package and everything.
Yeah, that was interesting. He built the climbing wall into his house. I loved that moment when his wife walks in. It's like,
right?
He's got the video on her, like, "Hey, guess what I did?"
I'm so glad he had that on video because that is so awesome. Because I can just imagine every wife in America being like, "Yep, that would be my reaction if that happened."
He did awesome. He just breezed through it. I don't know that there's anybody as strong and well trained as Brian is. It's just amazing.
Amazingly well rounded. That's the best explanation for it. He's fast. He's agile. He's strong. He's incredibly well suited for the sport.
Yeah. He had 14 seconds left. He just had no problems at all.
Mm-hmm. He needs to go full bald though. He needs to join us and go full bald.
Embrace the baldness.
Yep.
After him, we had Chris Wilczewski. They joined him mid-run. Chris is even worse than Brian for not getting love sometimes. Like, oh my God, come on. Like, yeah, you're showing his run. You kind of have to. Not have to,
finished,
I guess.
Right?
Because he finished.
Like, you kind of have to.
But, geez, come on. Show that the guy, he has a backstory. It's really interesting. He's been doing all this great stuff for the ninja community. Whatever.
Yeah, not just that, like breast cancer, like everything involved with him. He said it's so good, it's so suited for the show, but they don't highlight it.
Yeah, I think he made them angry at some point. There has to have really ticked somebody off along the way.
National Ninja League, man, I don't know. They're like, how dare you start National Ninja League while we're still on air?
They took it out on Brian for that, I guess, but I don't know.
Touche on that one, yeah.
He got hung up on the Sonic Curve, and man, another ow moment when he fell on the broken bridge. But he finished. He had 8 seconds left. And they went back to the broken bridge and showed that he missed the fifth step completely, but still managed to make it.
That is crazy because you see him flying over that step and you just assume he is going into that water. But he must have been going so fast that he just propelled forward, even skipping it. That's awesome. That I have to imagine that's the way to do that obstacle. Because even if you slip up, you're still flying past it.
Yeah, just full tilt as fast as you can go.
Yep. Usain Bolt that thing.
Next we had Kevin Bull. And
boy.
That was one of the biggest surprises of the night for sure, because especially they did his package. He's the spokesperson now for trampoline parks. And then he misses the pad on the giant lugger. Like, what the heck was that?
It's crazy because, going back, Vision 2020, you can totally see why it happened. You shouldn't wear pants going on that log because it's like you have no grip, and they were hinting to it all episode. It's like everybody pulling up their shorts and taking off their shirt to get as much skin contact as possible. And the most important part, which is the legs getting grip on the log, he had none of it because of his pants. But with that said, I mean, I think he's known mostly for wearing those pants, right? Well, I shouldn't say he's mostly known for it. He's kind of known for something else. But, it's kind of part of his outfit. With that said, man, he should have just wore shorts on that thing.
Yep, for sure. I'm glad you said that because I was thinking it, and I was like, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but it seems to me like the pants are not helping him there. And then we had a couple of notable fast forwards. We had Erica Cook, who you might remember from Team Ninja Warrior if you watched it. She beat the propeller bar. She is the shortest woman, I believe they said, to ever, or shortest competitor to ever do that.
How tall is she?
I think she's 5 foot.
Wow. I know she's short, but I didn't realize she was that short. Good on her.
Yeah. But she did end up going out, and I didn't know where for some stupid reason. And then they fast forward to Dan Polizzi, from the Towers of Power. He ended up timing out. That's got to be one of the worst ways to not complete it. You beat everything, you're going well, and then just run out of time.
Not just that, he was at the top of the cargo net too.
Yeah.
That, literally, the end was in sight, but he couldn't reach in time. That's rough. But I appreciate the fact that somebody did time out because it did make the time limit an obstacle, which I very much appreciate from stage one.
Yeah, because I think that was the big, I don't know if you want to call it a problem, but the reason we had so many finishers last season is the time were relaxed a little too much.
Yeah, it was way too much. I don't know. I don't even think time was a factor last year. Not
really. No, it seemed to be. And then we had the great rivalry. We had Daniel Gill and Thomas Stillings. That was awesome. I loved the little package for that.
They were great, and I like the fact that they highlighted the rivalry too. Like they made it a thing. I really hope Drew Drechsel and Beast McGrath make it a thing next year because it seems to work for them, and Beast McGrath needs all the help he can get. Yeah, but Daniel Gill, he's so good. I feel like we're always talking about how good this guy is, but man, him and Thomas Stillings, they're just primed and ready. They're kind of like the new generation of Ninja Warrior All-Stars.
Yeah, I think so. I think they really captured everybody's attention. They certainly got ours, and it was great watching them. Daniel was running with his hair in his face. I actually thought it was going to play a part at some point. I thought he was going to end up falling because his hair was in his face. But he did end up beating the whole course. No real problems. 15 seconds left, so he did a great job.
Yeah, it's so hard to talk about this guy because it's so like flawless, right? There's like, it's like, yeah, he did everything perfectly. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, Daniel just went out and made it look like it was nothing, and then Thomas did the same thing right behind him, basically.
Yeah, Thomas was the one that hit his knee, though, right? Because I remember they made it a point. I really hope, like, we might want to look out for that because he really grimaced hard. I don't know if it became like a lingering injury going into stage 2 and 3, but I don't know. I hope it was just like a little thing where it wasn't. It was like kind of a non-factor. But we might want to keep an eye out. That could play a part later on. Yeah,
definitely worth noting. He actually waited on the log like nobody else. He waited until it swung back and then forward again. Like he just held on for dear life until it was hanging over the pad, then dropped.
I can't blame him because that with how many people fell on that thing, I would have held on for my dear life. I'm like, okay, is it safe now? Is it completely stopped? And then dropped.
Asking the audience, like, hey, can I drop now? Is it underneath me? Okay, cool.
Right?
I'm going to drop now. But yeah, he had 27 seconds left. That is unreal.
Yeah, man. Both of those guys are speed demons. Love it.
Yeah, he didn't just beat Daniel this time, though. He destroyed him.
Yeah, well, that rivalry, they keep going one up on each other. So I guess Daniel Gill's got stage 2, right?
Yeah. How cool would it be if they both make it to stage 3? I would love that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And you know what? They very much can. I see both of them primed for Stage 2. Well, hang on. Last year's Stage 2. I have a feeling Stage 2 is going to be very different this year. Like, we didn't see too many changes in Stage 1. I think Stage 2 and 3 are where they're really going to have a lot of this stuff. And I don't know what obstacle it is, but that dipping obstacle, like that dip thing that they have, that thing looks awesome. I have no idea which stage that is, but it looks amazing.
I think it's 3. The thing looks like a roller coaster.
Oh, yeah. Like, a part of me just wants to try that so bad. I don't even know everything involved with it, but I just want to do it.
And I know I've said this a couple times, but actually this is 100% the most surprising fall of the night. Ian Dory. Like, he was a top pick for most people's ANW fantasy teams because he's gone so far. He just seemed primed. This was his year. They gave him a good backstory, and it seemed like this was it. And then he went on the propeller bar of all places. He was
part of my top 5, and he fell so early. That's brutal. I did not see that happening. I thought he would breeze through this stage. I thought he'd breeze through stage 2, and he would be one of the top finishers in stage 3. And man, that's rough.
Yeah.
Good news is he's young as all heck, so he's gonna have a long future ahead of him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, no question. Just was really surprising.
It's that hair, man. He shouldn't have had that little boy hair. I don't know.
Had the mustache or what? He had like a ghost of a mustache going there too. I'm not sure what was going on.
Well, you want to talk about mustaches? What's up with Flip Rodriguez's facial hair?
That's what I was trying to lead into. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my. Like, I know it was for Fast and Furious, and huge props to him for getting that gig. That's huge, man.
That's awesome. But yeah.
Who on earth is he playing for that has facial hair like that?
I'm
sorry, but that is not, like, some people can pull off facial hair really well. Flip Rodriguez is not one of them. That is something.
Yeah, that's what my son looks like when he tries to grow in his facial hair. It's like, no, you just shave that off. Like, you're not fooling anyone. Like, I don't know where that came from, but no.
With that said, I mean, he did great.
He did, and I agree. Like, getting that stunt gig is amazing. for anybody that didn't catch that, he is going to be one of the stunt people in Fast and the Furious, so he had grown in the facial hair for that. I like that they kind of addressed that he had shared his story of abuse and the positive response that generated, and he feels free now. I think that's a great message to continue sharing out so that more people feel like they can.
Yeah, and I was completely shocked that it sounds like not a lot of ninjas knew, or hardly any ninjas knew at all, that he had that past, even his closest friends. So he really kept that to himself, and that just says so much more that he was able, or he was so strong and brave enough to go on national television and reveal that, you know? Once again, huge shout out to him. That I don't think people appreciate how big of a deal that is, and how hard doing something like that could have been. So I really respect him for that. Huge shout out to him for that. In terms of his run, though, the Sonic curve really got to him. They said he spent over 30 seconds on that obstacle, swinging on that rope. I can't believe he was able to finish the entire course, because his arms must have been completely drained at that point.
Yeah, I think there's not many people that would have been able to, but he is the exception. Especially, he can just skip past the warped wall like nobody's business, and then, you know, he's just so fast and so good.
Mm-hmm. Did you see on the bridge that he skipped every other little, I don't even know what you call that, hanging thing? He was jumping from like the first one to the third one to the fifth one. That is insane.
He Mario Brothers that thing. Like he skipped the third and the fifth step, and it's not like other people where they missed them. Right, they were going so fast. Like Chris Wilczewski, he just missed one of the steps. Anyway, he legit just skipped them.
Yeah, the precision involved with trying to do something like that, insane.
But one of my favorite parts of the whole thing, he beat it. It was great. Get to see him go to stage 2 again. And then Christine was talking to one of the little tadpoles in the after interview, and she's like, "Are you going to stay and watch him do stage 2?" And we're going to watch him do stage 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, that little boy was awesome.
That was awesome. Yeah, totally nailed it.
All right, so run of the night and possibly run of the year, man.
Yeah, Jessie Graff. That's all I heard about all day from all the people that have finally started getting on board at work. Everybody was coming up to me and asking about, did I see Jessie Graff? Did I see the girl on American Ninja Warrior last night, and all this different stuff. Yeah, I saw it. I may have just noticed it a little bit.
Oh yeah. She's a superstar now. She's the new Casey Catanzaro. And I know a lot of people are going to hate because, oh no, another woman. Oh no. It's not a guy that's getting all the attention. Who cares? I would much rather see her get the publicity than anybody else. It was so amazing. I am so happy that she inspired so many girls and everything. Like legit, when you see her, like there are tons of girls that look up to this woman, and such a strong woman and presence in general. She legit can hang with the guys. It was so good. I'm so happy for her. So incredibly happy for her.
I think you said it best earlier when we were talking. There's just no way to hate on Jessie Graff. Like, how you can't disrespect that. You can't not see the skill that she brings, and just she raised the bar and broken through. I mean, as much as Casey did a few years ago by doing that, Jessie has demonstrated that not only can they stretch themselves to compete, they can excel and like compete at that level and better than most of the other competitors. Like, it's absolutely just redefined what's possible.
Oh yeah. And she's such a strong presence, and you see the passion she has involved with the training as well. Like, the one thing that she said was a little weak on her last year was her legs. So you see the training that she does involving with her legs. And even when we were interviewing her, there was a moment where we had a little break. And what she did, she left and started racing in the middle of night. She went to train and was racing up steps in some stadium. Like, this woman never stops training. And I'm so happy to see her do so well. And if you're hating on somebody like this, where take out the gender factor and like throughout it all, right? If you're hating on a ninja warrior that trains all year, excels and wins all these ninja competitions out of the main sport, does Team Ninja Warrior does amazing, and excels in the qualifying stages, and then gets past stage 1. If you're hating on that person, shame on you, whatever. I don't even give you the time of day. You can't hate on somebody like this. She did so phenomenally. I'm so happy for her. Do you have anything else to say, or should we just get into the run, man? Because we haven't even gone to the specifics of what she did.
I actually have the same problem I have with Daniel Gill. Like, I couldn't even take notes. I would just, like, unbelievable. She just flawlessly went through it. I didn't see any point that she had any problems whatsoever. I think she did other than maybe skipping over some of the steps, I think she did the broken bridge better than anyone. Just very smooth and perfect.
There was one part that really terrified me. If you see her Lachey from the first flying squirrel to the second peg of the flying squirrel, she got inches close to falling into the water. She only made that by a little bit, and I was so terrified. But once she got past that, I knew she had it in the bag, and I think everybody collectively knew. And you can just see the exuberation from the crowd, and probably the exuberation from millions of people around the country watching this. It was really awesome. It was one of those event moments where you had to be there. It was a water cooler thing. And not just that, man. Just like her run in the qualifiers, this run has gone viral as well. And good for her. She deserves it.
Yeah,
I know we're kissing a lot of butt guys, but she deserves it. I don't know what to tell you.
So, I mean, beyond just, fanboying all over the place, she brings a notoriety to the sport and to the show that ensures that we'll be seeing it for a lot longer, right? So, I saw articles from People and ESPN, and all these major news outlets are all interviewing her and running stories, and that can only be good for the future of Ninja Warrior.
Oh, yeah. And once again, you can see the passion in her. Like, in her interview afterwards, she was almost tearing up. You can just see how much it meant to her. I'm really happy. And not just her, all the women involved this season as a whole. It really excelled that women can do so well in the sport, and that it's not just a male-oriented thing in general. Because, say what you want, I love Sasuke and I love a lot of the international sports, but you don't get a lot of female representation in those, in terms of doing well. I mean, obviously there are females that compete in them somewhat, but they don't go as strong. And the female athletes in American Ninja Warrior in particular are so incredibly strong and talented that they compete with these guys. And it really brings a lot of genuineness to it. And it just, I don't know, it means a lot to a lot of people that I don't think, not necessarily our audience, I think they understand that, but I think a lot of the haters online and a lot of people that just kind of just want to hate in general, they don't see just how much of a big deal this is.
All right, so let's take a quick commercial break, and then we'll come back with the rest of our ninja news. So do I really need to say this again? I mean, really, I think we covered this last week. Everyone ran out, signed up for NinjaWarriorBlueprints.com already, right? So we're done? What do you mean, no? Oh, come on, this is a total no-brainer. You go to NinjaWarriorBlueprints.com. Super easy to remember. You got that right. So you can put your email address. Done. They'll send you some free salmon ladder blueprints. Bada bing, bada boom, Bob's your uncle, we're out. Now let's say you like them. They're good, right? You think they're cool blueprints. Maybe you build a salmon ladder. That's great. And you're like, well, now what? What do I do now? I want a full course. I don't want just a salmon ladder in my backyard. Well, they got that too. They got an Ultimate Ninja Warrior Blueprints.com jungle gym situation. Is like a whole course for your backyard. Really compact. It's like the size of a playground for a kid. So you go there, you order it, you input our discount code of armchair, and that'll get you 10% off your purchase. Yeah, anybody should do it.
Yeah.
All right, and we're back.
Get those blueprints.
Just go get the blueprints already. Come on. How many times do I have to say this? So let's take a look at crashing the course. There's actually some really neat little facts about the Vegas Finals, but not a whole lot to say overall. It took a crew of 150 over a month to assemble. It's one of the brightest attractions on the strip, according to pilots. And when they showed it from the air, you can see that it really does kind of stand out, even among all of the crazy lights of Vegas.
That was the thing, man. That's awesome. Like, I can just imagine flying into Vegas and seeing that. Like, every tourist in Vegas is going to be like, what is that? I need to see it.
Yeah. But in the Crashing the Course, they showed the flying squirrel. We got kind of a little preview of the course. But if you're listening to this, chances are you saw the course already anyway. They kind of pointed out that the flying squirrel handles are independent of each other, which I guess I knew, but I hadn't really thought of how that might trip them up, but it didn't seem to this time.
It's really not that big of a deal. I mean, yeah, if maybe they were positioned like one forward and one backwards, right? And then you have to grab both of them. I can see how that's ridiculously hard, but maybe that would have added some difficulty to it.
Yeah, they predicted it was going to be the Ninja Killer, but it really wasn't.
Did they?
Yeah, in that video
they were
they did.
very wrong.
Yeah.
Oh. Like, I could see how it's hard, but I don't see it being a Ninja Killer.
I don't know. I give that one kind of a C grade. It's nothing wrong with the video, but I don't know if there's really any point in watching it after you've seen the Vegas
Come on,
Finals.
it was a boring video. Let's just say what it is.
Kind of was.
I didn't care.
Yeah, it just didn't pull me in. There just wasn't much to see, or it was kind of neat to see it. It might be worth watching just to see that view of the course from above, but beyond that.
Mm-hmm. You don't know what wasn't a boring video? Was it JoJo Bynum 24 before? That guy has a lot of charisma and personality. Like, I knew he was very personable, but man, that guy is very comfortable in front of a camera.
Yeah, it was a weird mix, though, for me. I liked it. I didn't dislike it, but overall, I guess I was a little underwhelmed. I did like him, but the content was kind of just a rehash of there's only so much you can do, right? So we get to see him.
Yeah, it's the same from what we've seen before. There's nothing really new. But if I was going to see that kind of stuff, I'd rather the person have personality, and this guy had plenty of it. But yeah, I definitely can understand there really wasn't anything new to his like preparations that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, I think that's just because we've seen them all and we've reviewed them all. So we know, like, yeah, he's nervous the night before. Yeah, he's making sure to eat properly, and he's doing a little bit of working out, but not too much. And there's a lot of this typical stuff that we see. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to say about it. He did mention that he was a country boy and he was kind of intimidated by Vegas, which I would think would play on you a lot. It's his third year, so you'd think it would kind of calm it down a little bit, but it's still got to be a little hard.
Mm-hmm. I like that he showed the preparation area for all the ninjas and all the things they did. Like, some were playing chess, some were laying down underneath tables, some were just doing their own thing. It was cool to see that.
Yeah, and I liked that he showed that he was wearing the bandana to keep the dust and the dirt out of his face. I guess you wouldn't really think of that being a factor. Mm-hmm. Because it was definitely windy, right? We saw that with Daniel Gill for sure. It was very windy there, so I'm guessing the sand was blown around. And yeah.
I mean, honestly, I would take windiness over rain any day.
Yeah, if you had to pick, I guess that would be the one you'd want. So yeah, if you get a chance, check that one out. I think it's worth a look for sure. So moving on to the National Ninja League. So they had their first event of the season. So Chris Wilczewski is putting out his videos again, which is great. This one was held at Core Complex in St. Louis, Missouri. That's Kirsty Pratt's hangout. Yeah.
And it featured one of my most look forward to competitors in all of National Ninja League. I was so excited.
You say it
featured. Can you guess who it is? I think it's pretty obvious, but who do you think?
You think was Adam Arnold?
Nah, dude, Rachel Brown. Come on now.
Okay.
13 years old. So awesome.
Yeah, she is awesome. She actually took first place in the female division. She was very smooth, great upper body work. Like, there's just nothing. Like, it would be interesting to see if they let her run the regular course to see how well she could do, because she's really, really good.
She's so good. It's hard to even say, like, oh, I can't wait to see her on American Ninja Warrior, because, like, by the time she actually can qualify on the show, I'm gonna be like an old man, like maybe with Alzheimer's at that point, right? She's so young. And yeah, that was a knock on you, bro.
Yeah,
that was a knock on you.
Yeah. Thanks.
But seriously, for how young she is and like probably how short she is, the fact that she can just do all these obstacles with ease, including the warped wall, it's absolutely amazing. Good on her, good on her trainers, good on everybody involved with her preparations. really amazing.
Yeah. Second place, and I got to say, I think Chris is a little rusty because he was making some very confusing at points. It was first place Rachel Brown, second place was Lindsay Jones, who gets stuck on the warped wall, and third place was Nicole Martinez, who also got stuck on the warped wall. But yeah, they did pretty well. The core complex course looked pretty good. It looked pretty typical what we see with the local competitions, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't anything stand out, but the PVC pipe transition that they were hinting to looked like a pretty cool obstacle, but we only got to see one competitor really try it. I don't know if they had more competitors try it and they failed. They didn't really highlight it, so I don't know, man. I wish we could have seen more competitors compete on that obstacle.
Yeah, it's always the mixed blessing of these videos, right? You get to see a nice condensed version, but then you always end up wanting more. You're like, I just want to see a little bit more of this person's run or that person's run.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, it makes for a quick viewing. I mean, if it was too bloated, I can see how it would be really tough for people to watch. So I understand.
Especially now they're actually putting out other videos, which I don't know if we'll end up reviewing maybe in the off season, but they're putting out little tutorial videos and other stuff there too, so it's definitely worth checking out their channel. So for the guys, we had we'll go with third place first, which was Bobby Zavala. He's Rachel's coach actually, and he fell in the same place, the lache to the PVC pipe. In second place was Mike McKenzie, extremely strong, and the coolest devil steps I've ever seen done.
Yeah, jeez. He legit threw his body up, like skipping every other devil step. It was crazy that he did that.
And so fast. Like you have to see it to appreciate. You really should check out the video. It's near the end. Mike McKenzie just flies up the devil steps. Like totally better than I've ever seen anyone do.
Yeah. And I've done devil steps. I don't know how he did that because that is not easy to do.
And first place was actually Adam Arnold. Man, Adam's crushing it.
He's so good.
He was the only person to beat the PVC jump, which they still need a name for. They didn't know what to actually call that obstacle. I think PVC jump actually works.
Did Adam Arnold make it to Vegas this season?
Yeah.
Because I really don't remember seeing much from him.
Yeah.
We covered him, right, and everything? What is wrong with me?
We did. This is the thing. Adam just kind of falls through the cracks in such a... I think they fast forward. I think he completed the course and they fast forwarded him. Let me go back.
Oh, is that what happened? Okay. Because, I remember seeing his name, but I'm like, I don't remember what happened with him.
No, he actually... he had a great time. He was really fast. He had the fastest time.
Oh, boy.
He had the fastest time in Indianapolis. That's how terrible we are. And, poor Adam.
No, that's how terrible I am. You can be nice, but, okay.
I'll take that, too.
Sorry, Adam.
I forgot he had the fastest time. But, yeah, so Adam did awesome. He beat that. And... So yeah, we'll see how he does this season. So there's lots more to come. He gave a little preview of the upcoming event in Buffalo at the big stadium. So there's lots going on.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, and the Buffalo Ninja Warrior is going to actually have Jessie Graff, last season's female champion and current star of ANW.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that. I want to see how well she's doing in the off season. I mean, you have to imagine she's doing great, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Is she crushing it or just killing
it? Sure, yeah.
So as a reminder, there's actually a Sasuke marathon coming up. So if you haven't watched previous seasons, like I haven't, I have watched the current one, and I have to say it was really good, and I'm going to be looking out for, I don't know how many I'm going to be able to record or catch, but definitely going to take a peek and see what was going on in the, how many seasons has it been now? 20-some, hasn't it? All right, so I pulled up the actual information here. So the marathon will begin on Saturday, September 3rd at 7 a.m. Eastern and run through Tuesday, September 6th at 4 a.m. Eastern. It's going to feature 26 Sasuke tournaments and 7 Women of Ninja Warrior Kunoichi tournaments.
Is that what they're calling it? Women of Ninja Warrior?
That's what they've got here, yeah.
Okay. It's kind of lame, but I understand why.
Yeah. If you say Kunoichi, no one's going to know what the heck it is.
Yeah.
Additionally, the all-new Sasuke tournaments will air for the first time in the United States on Esquire in 2017. So the newest ones will be next year.
Yeah. I really look forward to those. They're really fun, but you are going to have a ton of fun in the previous seasons of Sasuke. And I really suggest to everyone, if you haven't seen Sasuke, just give it a try on Esquire. You are absolutely going to love it. It is the birth of the sport, and it is some of the funnest television you can find. It is so good.
Yeah, definitely going to check it out.
Octopus Man. Just, if you know what I'm talking about, you know.
All right, so that is it for this week. So exciting first week in Vegas. We've got 2 more to go, at least. I don't know when they're going to start showing. I don't know. I assume they did All-Stars and stuff this year, but we'll...
oh, yeah.
We'll
they have to.
Yeah, and the U.S. versus the world, probably.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. The number one thing they must have done is USA versus the world, because I know Japan and Sasuke, one of the big deals is that it really underwhelmed TBS, the owner of Sasuke out there, with how poorly the Japanese competitors have been doing in the American competition. So I think we might get a resurgence of the competitors this year. I think they're going to bring in their big guns.
You know what I feel? I feel like we're going to get a correction from someone telling us that Japan didn't compete this year. I have this weird itch at the back of my brain that says I heard that.
If that happened, I am going to be so disappointed. I don't know, but if that happened, that's heartbreaking.
I feel like I read that somewhere, but who knows? And this last one took forever to air, so who knows when they're going to show it. The skills competition, I should say, took forever.
Well, the skills competition you can expect in June 2017, so don't hold out hope, everybody, right?
Yeah, and same with, even the U.S. versus the world came in, February was it? January?
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to see that for a few months.
Yeah. So I guess we stick with the original 2 weeks left to go, and then we'll just be waiting for Team Ninja Warrior.
Yeah. With that said, I'm so excited. It's almost towards the end. I don't know. If I had to guess, I don't think anybody's completing the whole thing this year.
No, I don't think so either. I have to join you in that.
I think that's stage 3. I think they are just going to make that thing ridiculous.
I guess we'll have to wait and see who gets through next week, and then we'll make our predictions for
the finals.
The final stages, yeah.
At the very least, we can make a guess or our top picks for who's going to go the farthest, right? I think that would be safe.
Yeah, I think that's what we'll do next week.
And as anybody that's seen ANW Fantasy knows, I am the better prognosticator than Rich. So, just a little shade.
Oh, yeah, because 4 of my guys haven't even run yet. You wait till next week. You wait till the...
Hey, it's all good.
Yeah.
I'm still at the top of those rankings, sitting high. It's all good.
I got Joe, Jeff, Drew, and Nicholas Coolidge all coming down the pipe next week. You wait and see.
Yeah, whatevs.
The 2 of us, we're going to take the top spots. That would be awesome.
That would be. It's not going to happen, but,
No, it's not. Especially since you lost one of yours today.
Oh, you just had to say that, huh?
I had to. Ian is out.
Dang it, Ian. These damn Wolfpack guys, I'm telling you.
You still got Brian, though.
I know.
If Brian beats
Bold
stage
power,
4.
Man.
He'll offset it when Brian beats stage 4.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be actually really cool. All right. So if you'd like to reach out to us, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all as Ninja Podcast. You can email me at rich@ninjapodcast.com. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Yeah, hit me up on Instagram and Twitter at Bijan151, as Bijan 151.
All right. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a great week.
Peace, y'all.